Understanding DSCR loans for real estate investments.
Yeah.
Now, anybody and everybody could be an investor if you follow some of these protocols, right?
Well, yeah. Well, here's the thing. I mean, there is a reason these huge companies like BlackRock and Blackstone are going around the country and buying up
Neighborhoods,
neighborhoods, buying up multifamily residencies like crazy. And it's because they make money.
Yeah.
You know, and here's there's different ways to think about it. But if you're an investor, you know, oftentimes there's a conflict because investors don't want to really claim what they're making on a property for tax purposes, right? So I have a lot of investors that have good accountants. I mean, I'm just going to say that, you know, they not that they're doing anything wrong, but they have good accountants. And the DSCR loan, debt service coverage ratio is what it is a way for investors to buy houses, or not houses, really mostly it's multi-unit properties, because the way they figure the income for that person is they take what the rents are or what the appraiser, when they do a rent schedule on the appraisal, says they can rent for. They multiply that over a year's time for what they call, you know, the income. And then they go against the payment, against taxes, against insurance on the bottom. And if one is, you know, 125% of the other, the bank says that this loan makes sense. You're going to make money on this. Let's do it. You know, and basically, so the investor's putting in 15 to 20% of their own money to buy the unit. And the bank is taking the risk from that point, and they're not doing the typical income guidelines. Show us your tax return.
Oh, yeah.
Show us your pay, you know, all that
Every
kind
time
of
you
stuff.
go to buy a house, you have to do another loan application.
Right.
That's why they go to the hard money lenders, and there's people that got a lot of money that will loan them to investors for 6 months.
Yeah. That's if they're, you know, turning it around or doing, you know, they're going to sell it. But
if they're going to buy it and keep it and rent it,
right,
they need the money to do that with, upfront money.
100%. And by not, you know, requiring them to put in 40 or 50% down payment and proving all this stuff, it allows them to buy other properties. And my line of thought is always like, I'd rather see individual small people making money by doing this and having a legitimate concern for it, rather than a hedge fund company out of New York City or California coming to Cincinnati, Ohio, and like you said, buying up multiple properties in the same neighborhood.
I've sold a few of those, and just had one in February, and he bought a house, and this was a house in the Norwood area, but it was one of probably 20 or 30 houses that this investor had purchased a year or two before. You know, the first thing they do is go in, they board up all the windows and put these padlocks on the doors, and they don't do anything. And finally, after being on the market for about a year, my buyer made a reasonable offer, and they took it. So he got a pretty good deal. Good investors will improve the neighborhoods. Ladies and gentlemen, I've had people call me, and they say, Gary, this house, we've been taking turns cutting the grass. What's going on? Who owns it? Well, we don't know because it was foreclosed on 4 years ago.
Right.
The bank owns it. The bank's not going to say who the owner is. And so finally, an investor will come along and pick it up, clean it up, and sell it to a deserving family. And they're doing a huge service to our community.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, too, we know that the city of Cincinnati in particular has a shortage and available places for individuals to rent.
If you're interested in anything like that, contact me. I can direct you to Mr. Bob Pape. By the way, the show is being brought to you today by Bob Pape and Polaris Home Funding Corp., and his number is 859-468-1929. If you have some money sitting in an IRA or something, and you want to put it to some good use, call Bob. He'll help you out with some of these thoughts, some of these ideas. You don't have to have $200,000 to become an investor. You can get by with $10,000 or $20,000.
That's correct. Yes, sir.
And fix a house up, and away you go. You can put it in your rental portfolio. I'm sure your financial advisor would love you.
Yeah.
There's no better investment but real estate.